Hey guys, as mentioned in the chat, these little plexiglass panes, uh, birds seem to kind of scared of them first, and then it's a little small. It's harder to land in here uh, and feed. Now, they're pretty precise flyers anyway, but I think they really liked it when they were able to fly in and kind of walk around and go through. So I'm going to remove these plexiglass panes. It is nice to be able to put more feed in it and not have to refill it as often, but I don't think it's being as effective for the birds because I've had it up for a couple of years practically without the panes, and they just use the heck out of it. So anyway, great feeder, about one of my favorite feeders here, but I was trying to the plexi try out the plexiglass, and I think I'm gonna remove it. I think it works better, at least in this location. It might work better in other locations around the country or world, but this location, I think the birds are used to flying in and walking through, approaching it from either side, and not having to worry as much about their landing. So let me go ahead and remove some of these mealworms and the plexiglass and put it back up and adjust the bottom cam, and I probably need to change out this food too. It's kind of wet. So always check the condition of your food. Don't want to be giving them bad food. Had some deer activity. The feeders down below. I added another feeder, which is one that was previous up here, so I had really an extra feeder. So put that down below. I have seen a blue jay came. I think must have gotten a peanut, but you probably couldn't see it because the camera down below is focused too far downward. I think a deer bumped it, or a squirrel jumped on it or something. But a bird landing on it wouldn't have knocked it out of focus. Anyway, well, let me get to work here and get you back to bird watching. In this short segment, what I'll demonstrate that I normally do is to clean out the water basin. Now, this is a heated water basin that builds up bacteria, so faster than you just sitting water that's not in a heated basin. So I get a heavy-duty scrub brush, and this scrub brush is in the page description. You can order it off Amazon with the links provided. But I put water in it, scrubbed it. You see that I dumped the water out. I proceed to, inspect and try to scrub any additional areas that I may have missed the first go around. I dump the water again, and then, it's time now to put some good water in the water basin. So, anyway, that's how to keep good, clean water. Thanks. Okay, next, after cleaning the water basin, I moved on over to check the ground feeders. And, I've had a couple of days of rain, and I use a trowel, you see, because I don't get my hands in there. There's little mites in that get around the feeder, and all kind of diseases, bacteria in that. So use a little masonry trowel. But I'm basically checking the quality of the feed down there. Is it too wet? Do I need to change it out? And I think I made the decision that the feeder, was wet, and the food in it was too wet and maybe compromised. So, basically what I'm going to do is go empty the feeders. Now, I dig a little spot over there, dig out some leaves and drop it in the leaves and cover it with leaves. And as you can see, little grass spots grow up where that is, and the deer and the critters don't find the compromised feed, but the seeds germinate and it grows grass. And so anyway, while I'm doing that, Uh, you can see area under the feeder where some of the kind of, I guess, the fine particulate matter has kind of dropped down into the soil there, and it's not mold actually. It's just food. So if there's mold, I'd have to remove it. But I also noticed that there's grass. I got like 2 layers of landscape fabric under that, and this grass is growing on top of that. So it's kind of a little bit aggravating. I might end up putting pavers down, but anyway, so I rough that up, and that feeder's going to be on top of that once I go clean the feeders and dry them and put new food in. So I'm off to the side right now with that trowel, trying to kind of get some of the other sides and corners and all that, the feed out of those areas. The same situation here with that feeder underneath the feeder. You've got some of the little fine particles drop through the screen there. It's not harmful, but when I mix it up like that, what it does is it spreads it out, and with rain, that just drops down to the soil, and it's harmless. And the feeder box is going to be on top of that, kind of raised up a little bit where you get air under it. Next was to add some more feed to that bottom feeder, and then talk a little bit about the tray feeders. Additionally, I want to apologize for the privacy mask to keep my good neighbor's privacy intact. It sometimes obscures my face, but I guess that's a good thing. Okay, I just cleaned these trays. You may have heard the leaf blower kind of I blew the trays themselves to try to make sure that it had a dry surface to put the seed on, because you don't want to put dry seed in a wet container. So it didn't all dry out the wood or anything, but at least the base of it where the seed is laying is dry. So I'll put these back down. Also, when you're any chance you get to refill the feeder, try to brush it out and wash it out, and check the hardware attachments. These things get heavy wear. The legs are screwed in. I don't know if you can see. There's screws down there. I don't want to tip the tray, but they'll work themselves out over time. So check your hardware connection, the connectors, the screws, and that, to make sure they're all good and in shape, because they'll work their way out, and then you got to start a new hole to put the leg back on. So anyway, I'm about to put these back down and let the birds get back to it, what they do best. Thank you.